Hey guys, what's going on? Ian Fernando here, and I have another special guest during our quarantine days of video. So I wanted to bring Oliver Kenyon to talk about some landing pages and optimization strategies and call to action and things like that. In the past videos, we talked about a lot of the majority of the industry, what to do as things as a whole, right? And now I kind of want to go deep down to certain strategies, and I think one of the most important ones is to actually discover what a landing page is, what it does, why it's important to your website, if you're doing just a standard blog post with affiliate links in, or just a strictly call to action that increases engagement. And I have Oliver here, and he's going to discuss and we're going to just overall talk about what it's all about and what you can learn specifically today to help yourself increase your conversion. So, Oliver, if you can just introduce yourself and tell us what you do.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you. Really excited to be part of the community. Heard you're doing some amazing things. Excited for that. Me and Ian have known each, been friends for probably, I don't know, what, like 7, 8 years now.
Yeah, I think 8 years.
Met in met in London, yeah, a long time ago, and keep meeting up ever since, somewhere around the world. But
It's
yeah,
always
we
that's always a good conversation we always bring up how we meet.
yeah, how did we meet? Yeah, some crazy night in London where we
Yeah,
went searching for a Chinese restaurant at
yeah,
5 in
just
the
for
morning.
Chinese food. So
It's all good. It was all good. We run a design development agency called Landing Page Guys. We focus on primarily the conversion rate, whereas any design development agency can make a website and make it look pretty. We make it convert, and that's what we focus on. We've got an internal blueprint that's a long list, and hopefully we can get into some of that list today. But we have to check these things off in order to deliver it to the client, because then it is built to basically convert. So we currently do between sort of 50 and 100 projects per month. I would say at the moment, 70-80% of that is e-com and sales pages. But I do believe that lead generation is going to have a massive resurgence due to the current pandemic in the next kind of 6 to 12 months. So we're a full stack agency, and we eat, sleep, live, breathe landing pages and conversion rates.
that's awesome, man. Yeah, I'm actually diving deep into a lot of lead gen currently right now, just because it's a lot of the stuff is not really working. Like I promoted like my Nutra stuff, the ecom stuff, and they're not just doing well. I think so. But how's your business right now during this COVID-19?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing to kind of say is I feel we're so fortunate as online people. People can hustle and still work online, like work from home, wherever we are in the world. Me and Ian were just chatting off air how, we may be quarantined, we may be going a bit crazy, but at least we can still make some money and help people. So I feel very, very lucky that we can do that. We've got an internal team here of 8 of us in the office, and then we have an external team of around 30 to 40 people, just depends on how busy we are. The internal team are now working fully remote. So that's the only thing that's really changed for us. We're not in an internal hub. We're not in our office over in Bristol. But as far as work, we're actually busier than ever, which to say that is a very lucky thing. But we are the forefront of how marketers pivot and how they adapt to current situations. So we are almost under pressure to turn out different angles, different approaches, and as everyone adapts to continue to make money through internet marketing, affiliate marketing, and marketing, we provide a service that builds the pages where they send their traffic. So fortunately, right now, we haven't seen a difference. If anything, we're busier, but we feel very, very fortunate to be in that.
That's good. Now, like landing page guys, you just don't make sales pages. You can just make jump pages, opt-in pages, single pages. It doesn't really matter, right?
Yeah. No, it's anything that focuses on that conversion rate. So whether it's a pre-sale, advertorial, lead gen, multi-step, sales page, full funnel, website, opt-in, like you said, there's still a principle behind that funnel. Like we say in our group, we've got a community online, and it says strapline is that web design is an art form, landing page design is a science, and it's that science and those principles that we focus on internally, which sets us aside from all the other web design agencies out there.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So let's talk about like in this time and need, especially with lead gen. Um, Now, is the web form very, very important on size or format, or there needs to be left, right? Like, where do you think lead gen landing pages will be after this?
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to back up my statement about why I think lead gen is going to be huge. I don't think it is right now because people are still working from home. So for lead gen, it's taking a little bit of a hit now because obviously call centers, you can't have hundreds of people in the call center following up with leads and stuff like that. But independent lead gen, what I mean by that is like your kind of average guy who's, for example, we have a client, a will writer, right? And it's a bit morbid, but he writes wills for clients, and his business is 5x because people are feeling under pressure. Now, I think this is going to have a huge knock-on effect, and especially when people get back into an office and call centers can reopen, I think it's going to be huge in the next 6 to 12 months. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about things like there's going to be a huge deficit, so a huge financial crisis, right? So loans are going to be massive, credit cards are going to be huge. People are going to be looking for money, so refinance is going to be huge, remortgages are going to be huge, insurance, funeral cover, will writing, like all of these things are now not something that you can just forget about and say, oh, I'll do that next year or I'll do that next week. Like people are panicking to do these things because of this pandemic. So there is a lot of opportunity, and it might sound a bit like saying morbid to say it, but there's huge opportunity in what's happening right now in this space. And I feel like lead gen is just going to blow up in the next coming months.
Yeah, I think so too. Especially like people looking for loans and refi and all that stuff for sure.
There's going to be so many claim pages as well. Like look at things like PPI. Like there's going to be things that come out of the corona situation that you can claim back on. You know, loss of income, loss of housing benefits, loss of holidays that you've booked, air travel.
Air travel, yeah.
There's going to be so much. So my advice on that, before we get into the actual individual landing pages, is get ahead of the curve. Like whoever's building resources and assets that are going to help once this pandemic quietens down and starts to build that list is going to be making some serious money. So
yeah,
let's jump into what a lead gen page looks like.
Yeah, let's do that.
Typically, I'm going to kind of take this quite slow, but typically we always speak about the above the fold. So you're talking about the form, the web form, that is crucial. Let's talk about above the fold. And for people who don't know what above the fold is, it's basically when you land on a website, whatever loads in your browser is called the above the fold. I know I didn't tell you, and you've been doing this too long.
Oh man!
What should be above the fold? On a lead gen page, you need a clear value proposition, and you get that across with a headline and a subheadline. You need some bullet points that are kind of talking about the benefits. So, what benefits are people going to get for filling in your form? What is this? How is this benefiting them? We always talk about benefits before features. So don't talk about the features of your service, talk about the benefits. So let's say, for example, we use the example of a loan, for example, lead gens for loan. The benefit is
don't be giving my offer away, bro.
They're going to get quick access to money with little hassle. It's going to be in their bank the next day. That's the benefit, okay? So that's what you want to be talking about in these bullet points. You want a clear value proposition. I mentioned you need some form of social proof above the fold. So that's normally done via like a testimonial. So if anyone here is doing lead gen or ecom and they haven't got a testimonial above the fold on their landing page, they're losing money. So you need to put a testimonial in there, just a one paragraph with a picture and a person that says, you know, I use this service, I got instant cash relief, and now I can afford to pay my bills for the next month, whatever it may be. And then you need that form. You're absolutely right. So typically on a lead gen page, the form will be on the right-hand side. You need to make sure that form sticks out. If you have, for example, like your style guide is the color blue, don't make your call to action button or your form in the color blue. You don't want it to kind of merge in with the rest of your page. So make it stand out. Make sure it kind of guides people through. The top of the form, you should have like a nice little bit of a sentence that just says something like, you know, it only takes 2 seconds, fill in this form for a free quotation now, or something like that guides people through that journey. Then you have your fields and then a strong call to action button. And one little tip, put an emoji on the end of your button. I know it sounds absolutely ridiculous.
I do that,
that's the world we live in, and people associate with them. They're also directional cues. We still haven't been able to beat this pointing emoji, okay? So put that at the end of your call to action button, your CTR is going to go through.
It's interesting. So somebody's landing page, I do have the headline, right? And then I do sometimes use the sub headline. Now, let me ask you this. Is there an attitude that you put in the sub headline? Because I know sub headline is more of like, let's say the headline is like, are you ready to make money today? Find out why.
Questions, right?
Yeah. And then the sub headline is like either an emotional contact, fear, or some type of directional emotional response, like find out why your neighbor gained X amount, whatever, right? So what kind of sub headline do you think is necessary? Like, are all landing pages needed? for subheadline? Because I don't use subheadline that much.
I would because I think those bullet points are really important. Those kind of always, it sounds weird, always go odd on your bullet points, so we could do 3 or 5, but those bullet points are really important. Instead of having like a lot of people have like a paragraph of text, and people just won't read it, especially on mobile, they just won't read it.
Yeah.
So change that paragraph of text into like a bullet point format, bold some important words, put some green ticks next to them. But when it comes to headline and subheadline, you're right. Most people will lead with a question as a headline, and then they'll have a feature-driven subheadline. So it'd be like
feature-driven,
like you just said. Sorry, this is what most people do. This is wrong, by the way. So most people will automatically go to a question. So, do you want to make more money? Question mark. And then they'll have like a feature-driven subheadline that would be something about like the course or whatever they're trying to say. So let's say it's work from home. So it'll be like 12 hours of incredible content. Okay, that's a feature of that service. Features don't sell. Okay, so benefits sell, features tell. So what you want to do is flip that headline and subheadline into a benefit. So how do we do that? Well, it used to be that the headline was, do you want to make more money? Question mark. Okay, let's flip that into a benefit-driven headline. So you will make more money instantly or something like that. And then the subheadline might be something like, 12 hours of incredible content. Well, let's switch that to a benefit. What's the benefit of someone who's going to watch that content? That's what we really want to say. So it would be something like, easily digestible content that will make you money instantly. That's the benefit of me watching that content. But us as product owners and as service owners or people who run lead gen offers, we always like to focus on the feature because we think it's what sets us aside, and it couldn't be further from the truth. Like there's an old, Ian, I'm sure you've probably heard this, but there's an old ad which is amazing. It's a visual, right? Okay, so you've got 2 ads. And this is why Apple are so good at this. They're selling 2 iPhones. They're exactly the same phone. So let's say I can't even keep up. What is it? iPhone 11, some shit like that. Let's say like iPhone 11. Okay, exactly the same phone, and it's a picture of a person holding the phone. Exactly the same ad, same image. The text above this one here says the all new 12 megapixel super zoom camera. Okay, it's feature led. It's feature led. This one is exactly the same ad, but the text above says, take pictures of your family that will last forever. And that ad there that's benefit driven will convert like 3-4 times better than that. So when you're thinking about content, headlines, subheadlines, just remember features tell, benefits sell. And another one I'd like to touch on, which you kind of touched on, is, again, it's cliche, it's a saying, but market the problem and then sell the solution. Yeah. So what is the problem? How are people going to benefit from your solution and then sell the solution?
Okay. I think more so like the benefits becomes more like a storytelling side, and it's more relatable to the end user, and that's why I think benefits
is the key word.
Yeah, and that's the reason why it's more and more effective. So
exactly.
Now talk about this lead gen. Now I have 2 styles landing pages for lead gen. Usually it's a double column or a single column. Now what do you think does better?
It depends. It depends what offer you're promoting. So what we will do is we will tend to keep them single column. Apart from, do you mean like above the fold? So left
it's everything will be obviously above the fold. Like right now I have 2 landers which I'm going to be testing today. One is a single column survey, and the other one is a single column, double column survey, right? Which will lead to the affiliate.
2 steps, sorry.
Yeah, 2 steps. Yeah.
Perfect. So it makes sense. Okay. So the reason, so how you differ this is an amount of questions that you need to ask, and I'm going to give you examples again. So let's say, for example, you're doing lead generation for the latest affiliate marketing guide. We all know Ian creates some incredible
Adventures.com.
There you go, exactly. Like he's been doing this shit for 15 years. So we all know that he can create some incredible content. So he has this guide, right? And he wants to put it out there. Now, all Ian wants from us to get this guide is going to be an email and a name, and maybe a few more details like your Skype, your current income. Let's say he wants to generate 5 questions for us to download this free guide. That would be single step. Let's now flip it and say you want to do something like a life insurance offer, a funeral cover offer, whereby you have to ask a lot of questions. So it's not just name, email, it's name, email, address, do you smoke, do you have a partner, does your partner want cover, what are their details? Like sometimes these kind of offers can be 20 fields. That's when you want to flip it to what we call a multi-step page. So not even 2-step. multi-step. And you've probably seen this, guys, but this is how you do it. You do like simple yes or no questions.
Yeah,
it's literally like a yes or no.
Yeah.
So it's like, are you male or female? Click the button, bang, next step. What's your income? This, bang, next step. Are you insured already? Yes, no, bang, next step. And the reason behind that, the psychology behind that, is because as soon as you get someone answering that first question, they're interacting with your form. So they're more likely to go through the form. If you were to present that as a 20-step form with 20 fields, no one's going to fill that out.
They'd get scared of it. That's why.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. So when people look at something like that,
I wouldn't. You'd look at it and you'd be like, I'm not filling
yeah, I'm
that
like,
out.
dude, fuck this. I'm not doing this.
But if you can flip it to like, instead of 20 fields, you can flip it into like 10 steps. And then on the end, you just have, congratulations, you've qualified. Bang, fill in your details to get a free survey, free quote, free guide, whatever that may be. That's going to convert way better than just chucking them all in one form. And the other thing is, make sure you have like a progress bar. Because what you want to do is you want to allow people to know where they are in that journey. Yeah. Like, even if, let's say, halfway through you put the progress bar as 3/4 of the way through, just so they psychologically think they're near the end, that's what people relate to.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about like psyche and emotions and how to get the user to interact. Yeah,
science, 100%.
Yeah, it is. You know what I mean? And with landing pages and creating these landing pages, it does become a very creative part, right? So how does one person, like, for example, when I first started, like, I didn't really think about all these formats, these ideas, these buttons, these emojis, to where I'm at now. So person just trying to make their first affiliate offer or business, where can they get the inspiration to be creative, to be like, oh, that looks like a neat landing page. Can I figure this out into my format?
Yeah, I think it's often the piece of the puzzle that people forget about. Everyone's always obsessed with traffic, right? Everyone's always obsessed with tracking traffic, scaling. How can I run this? And often like a good converting landing page is the difference between like breaking even and losing money, right?
Oh yeah,
but you're so obsessed with that traffic that it's always the piece of the puzzle that people forget about. And
it's crazy because like I'll spend like, I mean, it's so crazy that you're saying this, guy. I literally spent a whole day just nitpicking this fucking landing page and like, oh, I can make it better like this. I can make it better like that. And then because the traffic is the easiest part, right? It's the conversion on when they get to the website or the landing page is the most difficult part. You know what I mean? So
exactly, and that's what we focus on day in, day out. But how can people do it themselves? Well, you have to learn from your data, of course, but there are free resources. I'm going to be very biased, but obviously because this is what we do. But my whole position in our company now is doing more of these interviews and educating people on why the landing page is so important and how they can optimize their landing pages for themselves, not necessarily saying use us, because not everyone is ready to use us, not everyone wants to use us as a service, and some people like to learn it themselves. Like, Ian, like, don't take this the wrong way. You could afford to hire us to do your landing pages, but you still like to do that process. That's great because you want to learn and do it yourself and continue to evolve your skills. That's fine. That's not a problem. But if you want to learn by yourself, you have to look at the data. You have to test different things. What I would say is we have a free YouTube channel. If you go to YouTube and type in landing page, guys, we've got about 40 videos on there at the moment. We're actually adding like 2 to 3 videos per week. Whereby we break down the anatomy and how your landing pages should be done. And if you want to go do it for yourself, go do it for yourself. That's fine. But there are these key principles. I mean, I'd like to get into a few if I can, but like I would say there's like 5 to 10 crucial elements that anyone should be doing on their landing pages and anyone can do on their landing pages, which will boost your conversion rates. Beyond that, it's the kind of nerdy, geeky shit that we love and we do every day.
Oh yeah, I don't know why I love that shit too. But I mean, let's talk about the basics, right? The basics are going to be obviously above the fold. You have to have your basics of benefits and features, your testimonials, your clear call to action, right? And so let's quickly break down the 5.
Let me break down like 5. Okay, cool. So number 1, and this is only going to speak to people who are doing volume, and by volume I mean kind of like beyond your sort of 2K a day spend of traffic. So let's say you're at like 5K, 10K, 20K. Some of our clients are 100K plus a day on traffic. It's crucial that you optimize for page speed. When you get above a certain amount of traffic, you'll see a huge amount of difference. If you optimize for page speed. So what I mean in layman terms and basic terms is the quicker your page loads, the more it's going to convert. Now, how do we do this? How do we optimize? How do we check? There's some free tools online. One is gtmetrics.com. The other one is tools.pingdom.com. Or if you just Google Page Speed Insights, they have a mobile and a desktop one. All of these are really good. All of them are free. You input your landing page URL, and it's going to spit out exactly how fast your landing page loads, but it's also going to give you a report that you can send back to your dev, or you can pick apart yourself to optimize your page. Now, the biggest mistake people do is they serve videos from YouTube and they don't optimize their images. Anyone can do this. You don't have to be technical to do this. I'm not technical in the slightest. Ian, you're good friends with my co-founder Andy. You know he's the technical one. I'm just the one who does all this talking shit. But anyone can do this, right? You get a landing page. You get your landing page. You download all the images. You just right-click, download all the images. You Google again, and you Google a free image compression tool. There's hundreds of them. You run your images through a compression tool, and then you re-upload them to your landing page, whether you're using ClickFunnels, HTML, WordPress, Shopify. It doesn't matter. Just re-upload your images, and your page will load quicker. The other one is YouTube.
Well, let me explain that why they do that. So what happens with an image? When you save an image, there's all this metadata in it, right? So what is image optimizer? Like I have one for a Mac called Image Optimize or IMG Optimize, and yeah,
there you go.
And all it does is removes all the metadata on it, and then decompresses or compresses the image just a couple percentages. So now instead of like having a location, date, where it was taken, all that information on the image, like in the backend of the image, it's actually removing all that, and that's why you go from like, let's say 500 kilobits to like 38 kilobits. You know what I mean? So that's the reason why it gets shrinks down.
Exactly, and yeah, again with the videos, like YouTube will serve your videos quite slowly. So if you use something like Vimeo or Wistia or something like that, they'll host your videos quicker. But anyone can swap out their images and videos. That's one thing you can instantly do to improve the conversion rates on your landing page. So anyone can do that. I go challenge you to do that. You'll see a big conversion rate. The second most important, or all these things are important, but one that we see and live by is following what's called the AIDA principle. So AIDA stands for attention, interest, desire, action. Now, I'm not going to do it too much justice on this with Ian. However, you can Google the AIDA principle and you'll read all into it. But what I will say is it basically is the Scientology behind how your landing page should be laid out, and the user journey you take your users through. The easiest way to explain it is imagine your landing page as an A4 piece of paper, okay? So it's an A4 piece of paper like this. Split that piece of paper into half and then half again. So you've got 4 quarters. You've got attention, interest, desire, and action. And this is quickly what should be in each section. So when you load, that bit above the fold is the attention section. How do we get your attention? Me and Ian have just touched on that. It's headline, subheadline, bullet points, testimonial, and social proof, strong call to action, and you might want like an image or a video of your product or service. Then it comes to the interest section, that's second in the 4 down the A4 piece of paper. How do we pique people's interest? This is where you need to get clever. You need to put your head into the mind of the consumer who's going to be visiting your page, and you need to pique people's interest. So how do we do that? Well, we tell them how easy it is to utilize our service or product and what benefits they're going to get from doing that. Okay, so that's what needs to be in that second section. Moving down, we've got that third section out of 4. Imagine that A4 piece of paper, the third section down, is desire. Now, this is a huge, huge one. Social proof is key, and it's really, really kind of crucial in the generation we live in. Like, we live in a generation whereby if we're going to buy a product, we're going to use a service, if we're going to go to a restaurant. Remember the days when we used to be able to go to restaurants, by the way?
Yeah.
If you go to a restaurant, a bar, and we're in a random town, like me and Ian have done it. We've been in Barcelona before, and we want to go for some food. We're in London, we want to go for Chinese. We'll Google that, and we'll look for the reviews, right? So we don't want to give anyone an excuse to go and Google our product, go and look for reviews about our service. So that's why that desire section is so crucial. You put your reviews, your case studies, people using your product or service, and the results they've got. And then we come to that last section on the page, and that's the action section. What is the one clearest call to action that people can take to opt into a form, to call our number, to buy our product, whatever that may be? That needs to be that action person. So the AIDA principle is crucial.
Oh, I didn't even know there was an acronym for that. I was just like, okay, I need to get their attention.
You just do that in your head,
yeah, I'm just like, I need to get their attention. I need their interest. Now, what do they desire? Now, the call to action part, right?
There you go. So you were doing it without even realizing.
Yeah, that's so crazy.
All your landing pages need to follow that journey. So again, just Google the AIDA principle. Number 3, we touched on social proof in that desire section, but social proof across your whole landing page is crucial. Again, if you don't have a testimonial, it doesn't have to be a long testimonial. One little testimonial, one paragraph with the face, name of that person, and 5 gold stars are above the fold is going to make you more money. So if you don't have social proof above the fold, then you're losing money. So again, it could just be like a rating, like rated 5 out of 5 by 600 people, whatever it may be, with some gold stars. That's how you can do it really small on mobile, above the fold. That's a really good way of doing it. You need that desire section, you need case studies, you need reviews and testimonials. So social proof is massive.
Yeah, and the reason for this is because there's like back in the day, during when I first started, there was like it was so easy where you don't need social proof because there was nobody giving information. Now there's just so much information out there that people are like, oh, really? Let me just look it up real quick. You know what I mean? So you
That's it, and
need,
then you've lost that person,
yeah, and
right?
you've actually moved that person from your website, went on Google, and then now they're probably finding another competitor, and then they're like,
Exactly, I was
oh, let
about
me
to
go to
say,
this product. You know what I mean?
100%.
So
Yeah.
this is the
Or
reason
they read
why
your
social
reviews on
proof.
Facebook, and then they're like
Yeah.
searching on Facebook for the next 6 hours, and you paid for that click. So you don't want to give them
Exactly.
like any excuse to leave your landing page.
Exactly. And this is the reason why Facebook is so good at like keeping people in their platform because they want people in their platform. But it goes to what Oliver says, it's just like you want people to stay on your page, and having that social proof is very, very important because again, there's so much information nowadays that people are just like, nah, let me look this up real quick. You know what I mean? So I mean I'm still trying to figure out how to pull APIs from Facebook friends list from their friends they're logged in and be like, hey, your friend bought this. Now, if I can do that, that
Social proof of that would be nice.
yeah,
Pop up. Yeah, that'd
yeah.
be good. Yeah,
So
100%. We need to create that app. So yeah, social proof is huge. Just touching on that, like the whole don't give people an excuse to leave your page. We've now started putting FAQs on all of our landing pages.
I just, dude, you're fucking reading my mind. I just implemented. Dude, you're crazy. I just implemented this shit on my landing pages just last week.
Let me tell people why, right?
No,
so,
do it.
So when it comes to the desire section, and then you've got the action section, just above the action section, you want an FAQ. And the reason for that is you don't want anyone to have any excuse not to buy your offer, opt into your landing page. You don't want them to think any questions in their head that they're not going to have unanswered, then they're going to leave their page. You don't want them calling your number. You don't want them contacting you on a form. You don't want them emailing you a question, because then you've lost them. So again, I challenge anyone watching this, and this is probably what Ian did about a week ago, is get into the head of your consumer and think, what are the top 10 questions that if I was buying this product, if I was opting into this service, or if I was going to call this number, what would be the questions I am going to ask? And put those Q&As straight there on the landing page so people don't have an excuse to ask those questions.
Yeah, so for me, I was looking at sales pages. I'm like, why are these sales pages so long? And then I'm like, oh man, they're answering every possible question, right? Every imaginable question that a person can possibly have. So I'm like, how can I condense this real quick on a landing page? So I'm like, oh, let me put an FAQ. And then I have these FAQs where you click on a question and drop down. Oh man.
Always expand that top question there. Always expand the top question just so people know that they're collapsible. It's amazing how people won't even click on it.
Okay, got it. Yeah. Nice.
So yeah, FAQ is huge. The next one is trust. We call it trust proof. It's the same as social proof, but instead of giving a social boost, it's to give a trust boost. And how do you do that? Well, e-com is done by things like payment sales. So if you
payment badges,
If you have an e-com product and you have call to action buttons, go and Google payment badges. You can pick up a little PNG, and basically what we're talking about, meaning we're talking about like Amex, MasterCard, PayPal, Stripe, whatever it may be, whatever processes you process in, and put those little seals supporting your buy buttons, okay? So they're crucial. Things like money back guarantees, don't do them in the cheesy old way with these huge buttons, but like nice branded seals work. Nice branded seals still work. SSL security on lead generation below your form by the button, support it with some trust. So put like a little secure seal that says this form is secure, we will not spam you, that kind of thing. Anything that ensures trust. Again, if you're doing a product and your product's been featured on CNN and all this, put those badges on the fold. Brands that we've been featured in, or articles magazines we've been featured in. The same on the lead gen side. Any magazines or articles or blogs that have written about you, put them in there. Anyone who uses your influencers, that's all trust. It's just basically anything that people will visit your page for and think I assign trust with this, so now I trust this product or service. So trust is huge as well.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you have to definitely encourage the user that, hey, I am a brand out there that is trustworthy enough for you, because here are all my friends' testimonials, here are the comments I've read, here are my badges, and all that. You have to have a lot of things to be like, hey, the consumer is comfortable looking at your website, right? And that's the kind of the goal. And one thing I really want to touch base on
Yeah.
is copy. Like copy on a landing page is important. Like how much of copy is very like I suck at English, right? I mean, there are people that mess me on that corrects my blog posts. You know what I mean? Like, dude, I love your content, but
Oh,
your
I get that
paragraph,
all the time.
yeah,
Andy's forever correcting my grammar all the time. He's like, yeah, I wouldn't send that email just like that. I'm like, why? He's like, oh, well, this is spelled wrong. This is wrong. Like, okay.
yeah. I mean, I even use Grammarly, but I mean, there are
Yeah.
times like I read it and like it sounds good, it sounds good, it sounds good, and then I go to like my words book or whatever, and I'm like, oh, like I could switch it up a little bit, but it
Yeah.
takes me a while. So copy, how important
Yeah.
is copy on landing pages?
Copy is very important. I think the principles of how landing pages set out are more important, but copy is very important. When it comes to copy, we just keep promoting that benefit before features. So there's two things: benefits, and again, I hate to like bring up these phrases; they sound very cliche, but features tell, benefits sell. So you do want some feature-led copy on there, but always lead with your benefits. Benefits should be before everything. How can I use this product? How easy is it going to be? Or service, how easy it's going to be and how is it going to benefit me. Then you can go into the features of why it's going to benefit you. So if it's a physical product, you can break down, it's got a super zoom camera, it's got a long-lasting battery, it's got this and this. But always be benefits before those features. And then, when it comes to like long form copy or anything where it's quite a heavy page, again, it's cliche, it's a saying, but it's market the problem, sell the solution. So getting I always say it, but the more you can get out of your mindset of being the owner of the offer or the product or the service, because you always think of the feature, the more you can just flip it to saying, who's my ideal customer here and why are they going to want to use me and why is it going to benefit them, and drive your copy that way, the more it converts. So again, market the problem. What is the general problem that people are going to have when they face coming to your landing page? That they all have something in common, whatever it may be. If it's some exercise equipment, they're all not fit enough, or they want to get fitter. That's the problem. Okay.
Yeah.
And then at the bottom in that action, you obviously then sell the solution. So I just think you have to be very mindful of being less feature heavy, more benefit heavy, and marketing that problem and then selling the solution.
But how can somebody like I know when I first started I was so obsessed with my blog that I really didn't think about the consumer like, oh, I love it, blah blah blah. So it took me a while to actually get out of that mindset. Like how can somebody they have a gardening product they want to promote, and people like to baby their product, right? So
that's the problem.
Yeah, so how can somebody just like snap?
I think this is where someone else comes into it. So how we do it internally is quite funny, because I should practice what I preach. But even when I was doing our new LPG, our landingpageguys.com website, which we launched probably about 6 months ago, we launched a new website, and I always write all our content because I'm more of the sort of creative one. I come up with the style guides and the look and everything because that's what I love. I'm more design focused, Andy's more technical focused. So I came up with this landing page, looked amazing. Like, I love it. I think it looks great. It performs well. It has all the conversion principles in it, apart from the copy. Because again, I sent it to Andy, and Andy was like, yeah, but you've just written about all our features. And I was like, what? I was like, and I'm looking at the headlines, and I'm thinking, yeah, they're all feature driven. So it was great exercise for me to sit with Andy and just pick apart each headline. And I would say the headline, like I would say, for example, we skyrocket your conversion rates. Okay, that is still feature driven.
Yeah, there's no benefit to that.
What is the benefit of of us skyrocketing people's conversion rates? It's that they make more money. So he sat me down. He was like, okay, that was the feature headline. Flip it to a benefit. So it was really hard in my head to overcome it. And I was like, oh yeah, okay, so that's the feature, what's the benefit? And he would drum it into me, and I'd be like, no, that is it. He's like, no, what is the benefit of people skyrocketing their conversion rates? It's not that they skyrocket conversion rates, they get nothing intrinsically from going, I've got a 10% conversion rate. What's the benefit from it? Okay. Oh, okay, so they're gonna make some more money. So again, I would say something like on our landing page, we've got years of experience. That's not a benefit to someone. That's a feature of our service.
Yeah.
So again, my head's going, no, it's great. That's great. We have got years of experience. But Andy's going, yeah, but it's not a benefit. Like people don't they do benefit from it, but what is that benefit? So the benefit of years of experience is that we get to cut out years for the consumer. We can use our experience to make sure that we are delivering the best product for them. That's the benefit. So I would maybe challenge you to sit with your best mate. I mean, that might be hard right now with the situation we're in, but get on a Zoom room and just run through your copy with any of your affiliate marketing mates and just kind of look at the copy and think, is this benefit driven or feature driven? And it's quite a hard mindset to kind of get into, but force yourself to do it and just put A against B. And once you've completed B and read through it, you'll be like, oh, shit, yeah, that is better.
I think there has to be a very good distinction on benefit versus features, because I also do get stuck in a mindset where like, oh fuck, that sounds good, and then I read it and I'm like, nah, this is like, I'm not getting anything out of that. So that has to be a feature, right? You know what I mean?
Yes.
So it is very, very difficult, and I don't think there's any format to decipher features versus benefit, especially if you're doing a solopreneur or solo affiliate or whatever. And it's definitely tough. I mean, I've argued it myself. Obviously, Oliver has done it himself too. So it's like, you really have to look at it.
Is usability. So if you Google like you probably heard of it before, but if you Google like 5-second tests, there is resources whereby you can upload your copy or your website or landing page, and people will come on. It only costs like $20 for like 30 people. They'll come on and have 5 seconds to tell you exactly what your website does, and it's quite interesting to get feedback from that, because again, if you're not clearly getting across your value proposition and that above the fold and your on your copy, then you're doing something wrong, but they will tell you exactly what they think you do. And if 10 out of 20 people can't tell what you do, then you need to change that.
Yeah, that's funny, because I've actually used usability testing on my software stuff. Never on my landing pages, so for sure. But for my copy, I've definitely taken some copywriters from Fiverr. And I'd like, here's my copy. Is it good? Here are my format that I need to do, and they'll correct it. You know what I mean? So
Upwork's a great resource, or we've got a really high-end copy partner that we refer all our clients to. So just shoot me an email if you want to speak to him, but he's a bit more expensive than kind of Fiverr and stuff like that.
Cool. So Dan, we're hitting up pretty long here, and we have a lot of information here from Oliver. I want to thank Oliver for getting on this call and basically breaking down everything about what landing page is. And as you can tell, there's a lot of stuff that is needed for landing pages, from the basics of headlines, subheadline, benefits and features, and obviously your CTA, which is your call to action. And then, Oliver, is there anything else you want to add on to this? It was a really good conversation, though.
No, I'm good. Like I said, I'm buzzing to be a part of the community. You've done such a great job so far. If the guys want us back and we can do maybe a live Q&A or something about landing pages conversions, then make sure you leave a comment on this video wherever Ian posted it. But just check us out at landingpageguys.com, or if you want a kind of free group about landing page optimization, just head to landingpagelab.com.
That's interesting, because I'm actually going to do like a group call with my ad vendors group, like probably next week. But because I want to test more stuff with my group on like community driven, more engagement rather than chat. So that'd be interesting to see. I'll take you up on that. So, well, guys, that's it for right now. You'll see this, leave, subscribe, comment below, and I'll see you soon. And if you have any question for Oliver or me, just go ahead and leave them in the comments below, and we'll get back to you. All right, guys? Thank you. Thank you, Oliver, for being on this call too. Thanks.